Persona 5 Royal added a ton of new content on top of its original release. New confidants, new story content, a whole new palace. But when it comes to the gameplay side of things, it seems like the general consensus all agrees that the game is way more broken than the vanilla release. And it seems like the conversation always scatters around the fact that DLC personas are the main issue. And yeah, Izanagi no Okami is right there. He's easy to point at, and he's easy to blame.
By the myriad truths!
And while I do agree that allowing the player to rip the most broken personas in the game from the get-go with literally zero costs is definitely one of the decisions of all time, people seem to really overlook that the game is broken on a fundamental level beyond the DLC personas. And I know that DLC personas are not the only thing that people mention. They also really like to talk about technicals, since they were a very niche mechanic in vanilla, acting just as a little bit of extra damage, but they are completely busted in Royal, thanks to the fact that they can knock down people now, and on top of that, it does way more damage than a critical hit. But here's the thing. I think that the DLC persona narrative is distracting everyone from something that is just as impactful that has been sitting right in front of us the whole time. That's right, fusion alarms. You unlock them after grabbing up Kanashiro's palace, and from that point forward, the game quietly hands you down one of the most busted tools in any Persona title to date. And boy, don't even get me started of pairing this mechanic with the Twins Confidant, because once you reach rank 5 with the Twins, there's no going back from the stuff you can do. The thing that extremely breaks the game from fusion alarms is the fact that you can get skills and equipment that otherwise you have no business having at your current level. And the game just lets you do it. No DLC required, no mutation RNG, it's all right there. So today, I want to show you all some of the most egregious examples, and more specifically, how this little mechanic literally destroys any sense of linear progression. Anyways, get ready for the clown fest. Enjoy.
You're mine.
To start off, once you unlock fusion alarms, there are pretty much two ways you can go about abusing them. The first one, which is also simpler, is literally fishing for high-level skill cards, and then equipping them to your current persona for a raw power boost. However, there's a second method, which is... how do I put this? Anyways, I think we should focus on the first method right now. So basically, the logic behind why this is broken is that during the early game, you can create some persona builds that are pretty much equal to late game ones. Our two biggest offenders in this case are Fuki and Shikioji. Shikioji offers us the triple down skill card. What makes this impressive is the fact that you unlock this skill usually around the time of Okumura's palace. And even then, saying triple down is a mid-game skill is underselling it way too much. In practice, it's literally almost as good as the best gun skill in the game. So, if that doesn't put into perspective just how broken it is to get it at level 18, I don't know what will. Now, when it comes to Fuki, it's actually much simpler to understand why. All you really have to do is first hit level 23, then fuse him literally using whatever recipe you want, while just making sure to retain his innate intense focus trait for a little bit of extra damage. Then just make sure to trigger a fusion alarm. Once the alarm is active, you wanna itemize Fuki and turn him into the Windamp skill card. Once that is all done, all you have to do is take the Windamp skill card and put it right back into Fuki that you have to summon back from your compendium. Finally, once they get to level 25, they will learn Wind Boost, making both damage passives stack together. And tada! You have a fully realized Wind persona with very respectable damage during early game.
Ravage them!
There are a few more personas I would like to talk about, but if I went over every single one of them individually, this video would drag out like crazy. So, for the sake of time saving, I'm gonna gloss over some of them, and then go a little more in depth about two more personas which in my opinion are the two most important itemizations for the entirety of Persona 5. So, ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go! Our first persona is Ameno Usume. She's a level 13 persona, and during a fusion alarm she gives us the Senryo Yakusha R, giving Yusuke a flat 12 strength, being arguably his best katana. Next up, we have two personas who act very similarly to Fuki. We have Lilim at level 32 and Thunderbird at level 34. During a fusion alarm, they will give us the Ice Amp and Elec Amp skill cards respectively. The reason why these are great is because usually both these skills are unobtainable until the latter half of the 60th level range. On top of all this, these personas give us the Elec Boost and Ice Boost skill cards if the fusion alarm is not active. So you can completely create an ice and electric build with literally just these two. Cerberus, a level 55 persona, opens the door for one of the greatest skills in this game, pretty much allowing you to steamroll any enemy that crosses your path until the very late stages of the game. And you can get it even earlier if you have the Twins Confidant at rank 5, so overall I think you can get why this is broken too. Finally, last but not least for this little lightning round, I have a very honorable mention to make here. If you allow DLC personas, this is by far one of the best itemizations in the game. And of course we're talking about the one and only Tsukiyomi. The thing that makes this persona very special is that he literally gives us a 2-in-1 deal, granting us one of the best passive skills in the game for any party member, which is Prebuilt, and on top of that, he also gives us 16 points of strength. It's literally insane. Now that that's out of the way, it's time for the two last personas I wanna talk about. Let's just hop into it. The first one, and in my opinion the most important one for the entirety of Persona 5, is White Rider. That's right, this silly goober at level 38. And you could be wondering, boy, what makes White Rider of all personas be so good? Well, here's the thing. As is usual in Persona games, physical is king. But in Persona 5 we also have the gun element, which exchanges damage potential for in return having more high crit rate moves. So here's the thing. White Rider functions very similarly to Lilim, Thunderbird at Fuki, in the sense that he gives us both passives that we need to make gun builds, which then again, you're supposed to access much later, if not for fusion alarms. So what I'm trying to say here is that if you itemize this fella during an alarm, you can start getting away with stuff like this. And I'm sure that building a Kumara is fun and all, but there's one more persona I want to talk about. So here is Abaddon. Now I know, he's a little too high level. 75 is a big requirement. But then again, if you have the twins at rank 5, you can just completely bypass any level restriction. During a fusion alarm, Abaddon grants us access to the God's Hand belt. I guess it's obvious why this is very broken as well, but you can literally equip this on every party member. And boy, surely giving one of the strongest fist moves to every party member is not gonna break the game, right? But yeah, the game really said, have at it, spam God's Hand till you win, son. So, yeah.
Let's go gambling!
At the beginning of my explanation of fusion alarms, I did mention that there is a second method you can use to completely break the game. And of course, this game wouldn't be a true RPG if we didn't have to reroll over and over and over and over and over till get the stuff we want. To quickly break down how this works, fusion alarms have another mechanic that I haven't really talked about at all. But basically, while an alarm is active, any persona you fuse will become an empowered persona. These personas function very similarly to regular personas in the Velvet Room. However, the main difference is that if you use them during a fusion, it will most likely result in a fusion accident. Although in this case it's completely fine because we're actually looking to get one. This is because all their skills will get fully replaced with new ones, and that's actually what we're looking to do. The thing is, when all 8 skills change, the skills you get are not random at all. These are actually pre-made builds, and they consist of 14 different outcomes. And well, most of them focus on a single element and give you literally all the skills you need to make a functional build out of it. Although, it gets even crazier. I don't know if you all noticed, but levels really don't matter in this mechanic. What this means is that as soon as you unlock fusion alarms, you are instantly eligible to make whatever build you please. And before you ask, yes, one of these pre-made builds actually includes a gun variant. In my opinion, this is actually the best one, because aside from giving us all gun boosters, it also gives us the skill Trigger Happy. A flat 25% increase to crit rate is so good, and when you consider the fact that this skill you usually get until level 70, yeah, I don't know, man. It's pretty crazy to think that you can pretty much be running late game builds as soon as you finish the 3rd palace, and it really saddens me that thanks to DLC and other mechanics, fusion alarms seem to be overlooked even though they are completely game changing from the very start. Regardless of everything, Persona 5 is a masterpiece of a game, and it has some amazing mechanics that don't get talked about enough. So, I hope that someday this can be helpful in some of your future playthroughs.